Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Max and today we are going to be painting on a certain cube. I think this is a trend. It might be a trend. It certainly was a trend, but it might have died by now. I don't know. So the plan is each individual little square is going to be a different object of that colour. For example, maybe this one will be a pumpkin. Maybe this one will be a bee. I might make this into a series. I've got a lot of other sort of game type things that I could paint. This should be a lot of fun. I hope you enjoy the video. Here is a closer look at certain cube. You probably know what one looks like. You've probably seen one before. What I'm going to do before I paint on it though is cover it in a white base coat so that all the paint applies a little bit more easily when I add details on later. After I did that, I painted all the squares their original colour in a more appealing shade. I kept the colours all in their original sides so that when you solve it, it looks like a normal Rubik's Cube. Here is some cool transitions of me magically changing the colours, and here is me beginning the details. So as I said in the intro, each individual square is going to be a different object of the colour. I'm starting with yellow, as you can see, and I'm using a Posca pen to do all the yellow details. However, you can probably very clearly see that this isn't working very well because the yellow colour of the pen is very similar to the yellow colour of the background, and I went over it but it didn't quite work, so I just got a lighter colour of the background and used that instead. As you can see, this did work quite a lot better, and once I'd finished with all the yellow, I used some white to add details and also any other colours that are involved on the specific objects I was painting. I feel like I did quite well with this one, but some of them you can't really tell what they are, especially the lemon and the ring. They just look like blobs really. I added shading by getting a darker colour around the edge of each object and then blending it out into some fresh coat of the background layer. Because I was filming with natural light, the colours on this look a lot more faded than they are in real life and a lot less saturated, so just know that in reality they are a lot more colourful and vibrant and less washed out looking. Just in case you can't tell what these are from left to right, it's a lemon, a flower, a bee, a pineapple, a ring, a sunflower, a crown, a sweet and a light bulb. Our next victim is the blue one, and for this one I actually could use the Posca pen because the shade was quite a lot lighter than the one I used in the background, and what's even better is I actually have two different Posca pens so I could use a darker shade as well. I used white paint to add highlights and details to all of the different objects, and again, in case you can't tell what they are a bubble, a butterfly, an eye, a diamond, a button, a forget-me-not, a blueberry, a blue sweet of some sort, and a blue drink of some sort. As you saw, I added details with my darker blue Posca pen, and then I got the black out and I added black details toward them, before then starting on the shading, using the same technique I used with the yellow one by adding a sort of more brown, darker colour around the edges of each object and then blending it out into the original background colour. I'm quite happy with the blue side. It was easier being able to use the Posca pens, but I think the middle one, the button, it doesn't look really like a button, it looks more like a blue circle with other blue circles inside it, and the drink doesn't look like a drink, but it's okay. The sweet looks a bit like a blue Xbox symbol, but that's also okay, we will make mistakes. Next is the orange one. Again, I tried using the Posca pen but it didn't work, so I just went straight in with the paint. When I was in the brainstorming phase of the orange side, it was the most difficult to come up with ideas for because there aren't a lot of orange things that are interesting to draw. I ended up using a lot of things that could be any colour really, like a rose, a butterfly, a cat, a flower. But I did get to incorporate a pumpkin, which is cool because I like those. I did later get the Posca pen back out just to add some details to the other things, and I also used paint again to add all the other details. And that, what I'm working on now, you can't tell, it's meant to be a clownfish, it just looks like a stripy sausage really, sorry about that. The other things are supposed to be a slice of orange, a rose, a butterfly, a starfish, a pumpkin, a flower, a cat, a drink, and of course our stripy sausage clownfish. I added the shading to the background just like I did with the other ones, and then this side was done. The next side we're going to be working on is the red side, and this is my favourite overall, I think. I do quite like the colour red. It might be my favourite colour, it might not. As you probably know, I don't have a favourite colour, I like all the colours. I think I like this one best because there are just generally a lot of very aesthetic red things, such as mushrooms and cherries and strawberries. The main colour I used for the details was more of a pinky colour, but that is to be expected when you add white to red. I got a white colour and I added all the little highlights and details, and then I used the Posca pens to add the other details like the stalks of the fruit. I also added the shading as I had done previously with a pure red. I didn't add any brown this time. And I'll give you a list of what everything is, just in case you don't know. From left to right, there is a rose, a ruby, a strawberry, a mushroom, a pair of cherries, a heart, a coral, a YouTube play button, and a peppermint. As with all of the sides, there were some that were undistinguishable. This is just because it is such a small little canvas to be painting on, and it's very difficult to get in any necessary details to make something look realistic. So for example, the coral, it doesn't look very good, our stripy sausage clownfish doesn't look very good, and the ring and the lime on the other side. There are also a few more of these to come, so prepare yourself. Here is our green side. I used the Posca pen for this, and it was working alright, but for some reason I decided to use a lighter green paint instead. Not quite sure why. The pen was fine, but maybe it's because all the other ones had lighter colours for the details, and the Posca pen was in a darker shade. After I'd done all of the main colour, I got my white, added those details, and also all the brown on the pot and on the chocolate chips. There was quite a lot of brown in this one because in nature green and brown tend to go together quite a lot. I used just straight up green for the background like I did with the red. There wasn't any brown added. This does help to make the sides look a little bit more vibrant, and as I did with the other ones, I'm going to tell you what all the different objects are. There is a lime, a frog, a lily pad, a mint choc chip ice cream, one of those leaves with holes in, a kiwi fruit, a cactus, a Christmas tree, and an eye. There were some interesting choices in the objects here because I don't like frogs or mint flavoured ice cream or kiwis because I'm allergic to kiwis. Here is our final side, the white one. I really don't like this side at all. It's my least favourite one, and it's even more horrible on camera because I just didn't use a dark enough grey, I don't think, for the details, because obviously the background's white, so you can't draw the things in white, you can't have a lighter white, so I used grey instead, but it was a very pale grey, and lots of the pictures just looked like grey blobs, as you can tell. I did add details in pencil after I stopped recording, just in a graphite pencil, because normal pencils weren't working on it, like colouring pencils. I was originally intending to use colouring pencils for the whole cube. I didn't show me adding graphite pencil details for some reason, which was a terrible idea because they just look like grey blobs without it. I added details like eyes on the rabbit and a cone on the ice cream, and also the little pollen bit inside the daisy. I'm going to let you know what everything's meant to be, because you really would have no way of telling otherwise. It's meant to be a rose, a snowflake, a daisy, a cloud, a Mr. Whippy ice cream, the moon, a white butterfly, a pearl, and a white rabbit. Here is my finished cube. I really like it. I don't like the white side, I think that's horrible, but all the other sides look really good in my opinion. Even though you can't really tell what some of the things are, it's still quite cool.